I'm 87 years old. I've buried friends I thought I'd grow old with. I've watched the world change faster than I ever imagined. I've made mistakes I can't undo, and choices I still think about late at night. But one day, a much younger person asked me a question. And strangely enough, that one question changed how I see everything, not just the past. But the time I have left. INTROCITY and THCN. On this channel, Young vs Old, we talk about the space between generations. What the young worry about, what the old wish they had understood sooner. Today's story isn't about giving advice from a pedestal. It's about a conversation, a quiet moment, and a question that caught me completely off guard. If you're young, you might hear this as advice. If you're older, you might hear it as recognition. Either way, I hope you listen all the way through. INTITHQIST on. The question wasn't dramatic, it wasn't poetic. It was simple, almost careless. But simple questions can be dangerous, because they don't give you anywhere to hide. I'll tell you the question in a moment. But first, you need to understand where I was in life when it was asked. Marin Stoa, life AT87. At 87, life becomes very quiet. Not peaceful, quiet. The phone rings less. People stop asking for your opinion. You become invisible in rooms you once led. I spend most mornings sitting by the window, watching people walk by. Young people rushing, shoulders tense, eyes glued to glowing screens. Everyone seems late for something. I used to be like that too. I worked hard, harder than most, long hours, missed dinners, promises of next weekend. I told myself I was being responsible, providing, building something meaningful. And in some ways I was, but life doesn't grade you on intentions. It grades you on what you actually lived. person. One afternoon, a young man sat next to me on a park bench. He looked tired, not physically, mentally. He was scrolling on his phone, sighing every few seconds. Finally, he looked up at me and said, "Can I ask you something?" I nodded. He said, "Do you ever regret how you lived your life?" That wasn't the question that changed everything, but it opened the door. Asmurung abut regret. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was honest. I told him, "Of course I do. Anyone who says they don't is lying, or hasn't lived long enough yet." I told him about missed birthdays, about staying in jobs I hated out of fear, about words I never said because I didn't want to look weak, about people I loved who died before I figured out how to show it properly. He listened quietly. Then he asked the question. "THQ Stein," he asked, "if reminded every morning that you were going to die, would you have lived differently?" Pirao Seseng THQUN. That question hit me harder than any diagnosis ever did, because no one lives like they're mortal. We know we'll die, but we don't feel it. We live like we're on a free trial that never ends. I realized something uncomfortable. My biggest mistakes weren't the wrong choices. They were the delayed choices. Waiting to speak, waiting to leave, waiting to start, waiting for a better time that never came. Starisnoldy stum. I told him about my friend Daniel. Daniel wanted to paint. He worked accounting, just for now. 40 years passed. He died with blank canvases stacked in his garage. I told him about my marriage, how I thought love was about stability, not presence. I was faithful, but I wasn't there. Old wisdom isn't about knowing more facts. It's about realizing how little actually mattered. Generati onal coenderast, yo nqest ions. Young people ask, what should I become? Old people ask, who did I neglect becoming? Young people fear failure. Old people fear wasted time. Mistakes aren't the enemy. Fear is. Tiachanister I gave he. I answered his question honestly. Yes, I said, I would have lived differently. Not recklessly. Deliberately. I would have said, no, more often. I would have told people how I felt while I still could. I would have treated time like the currency it is, not money. K to Wuis. Take away one time is not refundable. You can recover money, you can rebuild reputation. You cannot reclaim Tuesday. Takeaway 20. Regret comes from silence. Not from mistakes, but from words unsaid and lives unlived. Takeaway 3. Fear disguises itself as responsibility. Many safe choices are just fear in formal clothing. Takeaway 4. Love requires presence, not perfection. Be there. That's the whole lesson. Takeaway 5. Ask yourself the question now. If I remembered I was mortal today, what would I do differently? Silosir. I'm 87. I don't have many mornings left. But I wake up differently now. That one question didn't give me more time. It gave my remaining time meaning. If this story made you think, even a little, subscribe to Young vs Old. Not for motivation, but for perspective. And maybe, ask yourself that question tonight.